Everybody here comes from somewhere that they would just as soon forget.
Hey, what's up? We're here on 6th Street in awesome Austin, the home of South by Southwest, a festival that, of course, exists mainly for indie and emerging bands, but also occasionally for the iconic veteran band who comes back to reconnect with the kids and hopefully reclaim some current relevance in the process. This year, the biggest name in town, R.E.M. They've got a brand new rockin' album on the way, aptly titled Accelerate. They play night number 1 of the festival at Stubbs. And just a little while ago, over at a hotel not far from here, I caught up with Michael, Mike, and Peter, the one and only R.E.M. Guys, welcome. Thanks for talking to us. And I know you've been in Austin a couple of days.
Yeah, I think what have we done? Walked around, looked at things. It hasn't started yet, so no one's gone totally insane.
The thing that I find exciting about being here this year is it seems like it's expanded beyond music to include film, of course, and also new technologies in the internet. A lot of the stuff that we're doing around this record and around the first single, we set up all these different websites for Supernatural, Super Serious, and we've been working with this French filmmaker named Vincent Maude. We just went and did takeaway shows all over the Lower East Side in New York, and his camera crew filmed us in all these different places, a sex shop and an Italian restaurant and a sandwich place and a wine shop and what have you, and put all of it up on this website, which is supernaturalsuperserious.com. And you go, and it's basically open content. You can go and download and mix your own version of a music video.
A band who's been around 20 years plus could sort of embrace new ways of reaching people and or they can get freaked out by it and intimidated by it. You guys seem to be doing the former.
Well, it's obvious that the stuff is here to stay, and you might as well embrace it and use it as a tool and have fun with it.
Yeah. The thing that I always never liked when we were younger was older bands or bands that had been around for a while. They were just from a different era and they weren't really punk rock or whatever. And kind of trying to glom onto something that really belonged to us. And that always felt really offensive to me. We're kind of not trying to mimic or do what younger bands are doing in terms of technology and the internet. We're kind of doing our own thing, and it fits who we are, and it fits the music in a really kind of great way.
So Accelerate is, the initial sort of inclination would be to read it as either an acceleration of tempo, of the speed. They're short. It's a relatively short record at 32 minutes, I believe. You guys recorded it quickly. Does it refer to all the above or none of the above?
All of the above, yeah. But specifically, we were playing the record for some people in London before we'd quite finished it, and a guy came up and introduced himself and said, "Oh, I like this record, because you're pushing it, it's really going, it's blah blah blah." You really had to call the record Accelerate. Okay.
Why do you think it was such a quick record to make?
We had a clear directive. We were communicating on a level that we had not communicated on in some time, the three of us, and I think we were saving the band.
Was the band in some degree of jeopardy?
I think so, yeah. We all admit to that. We had basically just kind of stopped talking to each other, and we lost a lot of focus. Not so much as a live act, but in the studio, we were just going off in all these different directions and not really communicating that well. It was on the last tour in 2005 that we looked at how the songs off of Around the Sun really worked great live. More so than they did the recorded version on the record, and we kind of set forth with this idea of how to make this record, and we did it really fast and really raw and really kind of in your face, and that's how the material turned out. In fact, it was quite literal.
I read one assessment the other day that pointed specifically to Bill not being a permanent member of the band for the last 3 records.
Bill Rieflin?
Bill Berry, actually, yeah. And saying, and sort of attributing that as the reason why you hadn't done sort of a real urgent kind of rock-oriented record sooner.
When Bill left the band, it was one of those things, everything is wrong all of a sudden. We didn't know what kind of band we were, but we didn't know, all of our methods of making records didn't exist anymore. So we had to just sort of recreate the whole thing, and we tried to use it as an opportunity to go in different directions where we couldn't or wouldn't have gone before.
Right.
And so we made records that we wouldn't have been able to make had Bill still been in the band. In doing so, we were able to find our equilibrium and figure out what it meant for R.E.M. to be a three-piece band. And over the years of this self-discovery, it took us to this place where we were able to refocus and say, okay, that was fun, enough of that, it's time to make a really fast rock and roll record, and let's just do that. We give ourselves 9 weeks, that's all we've got, there ain't no more. And we put ourselves in that box and we dealt with it.
So when people, whether it's a publicist or the initial press around the record refers to it as a return to form, is that an okay term with you? Or
Not by me.
I think it's a better record that we've made recently, but we never have made a record like this. I mean, we never made one that sounds like this. And even going back to Murmur, we didn't go in the studio and cut it, totally live, really fast.
I think there's an energy and an urgency to the record, and to me it kind of references almost a memory of punk rock and the spirit of that, what all of us came out of and what inspired us to start a band in the first place. But it's not specific to even to the late 70s. It's more like this almost imagined memory of that energy and that urgency. As Peter said, we would walk in Monday morning. They'd start setting up at 1 o'clock. We would record, and by 6 o'clock we would go to dinner and we'd have a song completely finished. That was really exciting.
it sounds like you're not thinking of this as anything looking backward at all. So if people look at this as, it's the old R.E.M., it's
This is
kind of missing the point.
No, they're completely missing the point. We wouldn't know how to return to anything. I can't imagine anything less interesting than going back and doing something you've already done before. This is R.E.M. in 2008, and nothing more, nothing less.
Michael, I saw the sort of online thing that was circulating a few weeks back, you talking on the street about Supernatural, Super Serious, and kind of the idea behind it. As I understand it, it sort of like has to do with kind of a moment, an adolescent moment, or that kind of sticks with you, right?
Yeah.
It's
kind of a geek. I hate that phrase, and I hate that it's coming out of my mouth. But it's a little bit of like a geek anthem.
Yeah.
And it's really it's inspired by friends of mine who are really successful, like well-rounded, intelligent, brilliant, beautiful adults who are just complete geeks. And really, what it is they have reconciled all their insecurities from childhood. And so the song is about a teenage seance gone horribly wrong, and how it then manifests itself in adult life years later.
So no particular moment from your own life.
No. Well, the seance is about Harry Houdini. So I never participated in a seance trying to revive the spirit of Harry Houdini.
You also seem to have that thing of you never, like with something like Supernatural, Super Serious, would want it to come off as what one might consider emo.
I'm a very sentimental person. I think I am. I'm not necessarily nostalgic. And how memory affects me in the now and in the future is something that I find really interesting. So I try to kind of explore and exploit that in my contribution to what R.E.M. do. But it's nowhere near emo.
Right.
The other thing is there are very few songs in our 28 years of writing songs that are autobiographic, but I'll be the first to say to anyone who asks, that is about me, or that's about something that actually happened.
Right.
To me. On this record, I think probably the only real part of me is in the song "Until the Day Is Done," which is kind of just looking at the mess that the current administration has left this country in, and wondering how we might ever dig ourselves out of it.
Right. And when you do write autobiographically, it never seems sort of woe is me kind of self-indulgent.
I'm an incredibly happy person. I just write sad songs.
Right. All of this, it says something about you guys, that you're interested in sort of looking forward and moving on and challenging yourselves and saying something to people, saying we're still here and interested, and hopefully you're interested too. Yeah. I mean, a year ago, if not today, this week, you were being inducted into the Hall of Fame, right?
That's right.
I'm just totally thrilled by the fact that we got inducted into the Hall of Fame when we had this record just sitting there waiting to come out. It's beyond exciting to know that you can be recognized for a body of work and still come out and do something that's as good as anything you've done in the past. I mean, that's just phenomenally thrilling for me.
No time to